He always warned them not to make him angry. You wouldn't like it when he was angry. Lou Ferrigno sharing some much happier news this morning, though. Standing by with Cody with more details.
Indeed, we have Lou Ferrigno and his doctor, Dr. Brian Kaplan, joining us right now. Lou, you and I met at Wizard World a few years back, and I came up to you, and I told you when I was growing up in Alabama, I was born 50% deaf. And you being the strongest man in the world on television was such a big deal to this little kid growing up, man. I started tearing up. You were so sweet. You put your arms around me, and I'm guessing you've heard this tale before, right?
Thank you for that wonderful speech. I'll pay you later.
Now, when I met you, you did not have the cochlear implant. So how has that changed for you?
Well, you know, my whole life wearing hearing aids, I had always been struggling for clarity because I want to have better clarity because hearing aid mainly amplifies sound for me. So as a kid, I had an old-fashioned hearing aid because I have a profound hearing loss when I was born. I lost like 80–85% of my hearing due to an ear infection. So throughout the years, I had to wear different hearing aids, and then I kept thriving on power because when you have a profound hearing loss, you need that volume. I always had my hearing aid to the mat at level 10. So then suddenly I realized I saw a friend of mine, a close friend of mine went through the surgery having a cochlear implant. He lost his hearing, his word discrimination was 12%, and now he's back up to 98%.
Wow.
So this convinced me to do it. Ever since I had this surgery, it was a life-changing experience because now I have much more confidence, especially a much better clarity. You see, the best hearing aid in the world not going to give me the clarity like a cochlear implant. And I think it's phenomenal because it's big life-changing, especially hearing, talking to people, my own diction, my own way of speaking, also monitoring my voice and just appreciating hearing the different content, different sound, the way people articulate.
It really is amazing technology. Doctor, let's talk a little bit about this. If people aren't familiar, how does it work? How does the cochlear implant work?
So the cochlear implant is used when that speech understanding gets to a point where the hearing aid isn't giving you the benefit you need anymore, because it's really just amplifying sound but not improving the clarity of speech. And that's when we talk about putting in a cochlear implant. And in a quick outpatient surgery that takes an hour and a half, 2 hours, you go home an hour or two later, we can directly stimulate the nerve carrying the signal to the brain, bypassing those damaged little hair cells. And that improves the volume like a hearing aid does, but importantly, it also improves the clarity of the sound and lets people re-engage with those members of their family, their workplace, their social situations, avoiding so many of the downstream effects of hearing loss like depression and falls and isolation that have become a real growing problem as the population's aging.
I'm sorry, did you say an hour and a half? You can get in and get this done and get out in an hour and a half?
You can, and sometimes it's even a little faster than that. We don't rush. It takes as long as it takes. But often it's 1 to 2 hours of surgery, and you go home an hour or two later. It's a very small incision tucked behind your ear with almost no visible scar, often shaved, no hair at all. Within a day or two, folks are back re-engaging with all the parts of their life.
That is
so it's
unbelievable technology.
It's accessible.
It's life-changing.
Yeah, it's amazing, and importantly, yeah, it's covered by insurance and it's covered by Medicare and Medicaid. That shouldn't stand in anyone's way from exploring further.
Yeah, that's great. Lou, thank you so much. Doctor, thank you so much for that. Oh, we got a question from the floor. Yes, Joe.
How much does Lou bench these days?
Yeah, Lou, how much you benching these days, buddy?
Well, I used to bench 560. Now I basically do light machines, light weights, because I have no desire to be the strongest man in the world.
Could you show us which direction the gun show is, though?
Quietly mentions used to bench 560.
I'll take that as a no. All right, thank you, fellas. Really do appreciate it. I know with hearing aids, my hearing aid, it just leveled all the noise on one level, and it made it so hard for me to distinguish between different people talking and stuff like that. This technology is unbelievable and life-changing. Thank you both. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.